Hey friends, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Erin and I am so excited that you decided to take time out of your day to spend with me because today we are starting a journey, right? So first of all, welcome to the first day of Bookmas. I'm so excited and scared to be attempting Bookmas, especially so early on in what I would call my YouTube journey. But I'm going to give it a shot, and whatever happens. I'm going to try not to be too hard on myself on how many videos I get up. Any amount of videos is good for me. My plan was to do 12, but at this moment, I haven't decided if I'm going to do 12 consecutive days or if I'm going to do 12 every other day or if I'm just going to try to get 12 videos out at some point before Christmas, which I think that is more of a realistic goal, but we'll just see what happens. And for this particular video, we are doing my December reset. So this video will be happening a longer period of time because there's no way I could get all of this done in like one day. So I want this video to be me doing my December journal spread, me doing a little bit of decorating around the house. Well, not a little bit, but decorating the house for Christmas a little bit at a time. Now, how much you see of that, I don't know. You will see this room, which I'm going to do a little bit too, but I don't know if I want y'all in my house yet. So we'll just see how I feel about that as I go. And then, yeah, whatever else I can get up to. So, yeah. Happy first day of Bookmas, and I hope this goes well for the both of us. So let's go. Okay, y'all, so now we are going to quickly run through my December TBR. I decided not to make this a separate video and just put it all into this reset. So yeah, we're going to run through them quickly. I don't think I'm going to do a lot of synopses just because you'll hear about these books later on in some of my videos. So yeah, I'm just going to kind of run through the list. It's kind of a large list. You know how I do. Make a list of hopefuls and then just mood read from that list. So yeah, let's get into it. My first batch of books are going to be the holiday books that I plan on reading my way through this December. So we're going to start off with Christmas in Spite of You, and that is by K.C. Mills. And this is kind of a forced proximity situation where our main character Noelle lists her apartment on this like shared spaces, kind of like Airbnb type place, and she ends up getting sick, so she's not able to leave, but she forgets to cancel the reservation. So the guy who booked her apartment shows up. His name is Canton, and so they kind of have to live in this apartment together. Canton is not a fan of Christmas, and Noelle, I guess you can tell by her name that she is very much into Christmas. So, you know, they're kind of battling it out and having to live with each other in a forced proximity type situation. So yes, then we have My December Darling by Lauren Asher, and this follows Catalina, who is the maid of honor in her sister's wedding. But the thing about it is her sister is marrying her ex-boyfriend, and so she already feels awkward about the situation, even though she realizes that, you know, he wasn't the man for her. It's still awkward, right, that your sister is marrying your ex. But then to bring more awkward into the situation, the best man's name is Luke, and he is very much a sunshiny type person, and Catalina is the opposite. And so they are kind of, you know, not wanting to be around each other, but also they're both attracted to each other, but they don't see where the relationship could go because, you know, that's her ex's best friend and she's his best friend's ex. So we can see what happened with that crazy situation. And then we have Merry Inkmas by Talia Hibbert. So this follows a tattoo artist whose name is Cash, and he has a crush on Bailey, but of course he thinks that Bailey is too good for him. So he just kind of watches and kind of, you know, stands by on the sidelines. And Bailey has, you know, had her share of men who aren't worth anything, so she's kind of sworn them off for the moment. But she does notice her brooding boss, which is Cash, and eventually she sees that, you know, he's not as bad of a person as, you know, she might have made him out to be in her head, because he's always helping her and helping others. And so they kind of discover each other and maybe a little relationship. My next potential holiday read is The Holidates, and this is by Brittany C. Cherry. And this follows Holly Jackson, who is unlucky in love, yet her romantic heart refuses to give up her search for companionship even after her fiance left her at the altar on Christmas Eve. Okay? That's so rude. And grumpy restaurant owner Kai Kane wanted nothing to do with love after his last relationship crashed and burned. Romance was the last thing on his mind, but unfortunately for him, Holly kept entering his restaurant nightly with the different first dates, and his annoyance grew. Kai volunteers to help Holly find a suitor for one reason only: to get her out of his restaurant and go on a second date with someone at a different location. And once Kai becomes Holly's dating coach, her confidence grows, and it's all going great until Kai becomes increasingly jealous of the connection that Holly has developed with another man. Okay, that's cute. Ready for it. Another holiday book that I am hoping to get to is Three Holidays and a Wedding. And in this, we're following three main characters, and two of them, Miriam and Anna, are seatmates as they fly to Toronto for the holidays. And Miriam is going to her sister's wedding, and Anna is going to meet her boyfriend's family for the first time. And there's some severe turbulence that happens on the plane, not train. And so they have to do an emergency landing. And this lands Miriam and Anna along with our other main character, Seth, who Miriam just so happens to be in love with in this small, quirky town called Snow Falls, where they, you know, have an interesting little stay. So yeah, I think I'm doing a horrible job at explaining some of these synopses, but like I said, they will resurface in other Bookmas videos, so just work with me, okay? My next holiday hopeful is Most Wonderful, and this is by Georgia Clark. And in this, it's a queer romance where we follow three adult siblings who each have some issues going on that they need to work through. So first we have Liz, who is a responsible eldest but has no idea how to follow up her Hollywood show's first season, or how to deal with her giant crush on its star. And we have Birdie, who has turned her chronic middle child syndrome into a career as a stand-up comic, but since she spends more time wooing women than working on new material, she's facing one-hit wonder status. And we also are following Rafi, sensitive, romantic, and baby golden boy, who proposes to his coworker girlfriend in front of the entire company, only to be turned down by the woman he thought was the love of his life. So all three of these siblings share a mother, and she has a house up in the Catskills, and this is where they go to kind of swear off love and work on themselves, but I don't think they're going to be swearing off love. Moving on to All I Want Is You by Fallon Ballard. In this we follow Jessica, who has always wanted her own happily ever after, but until that happens, she spends her days as a small-time romance writer, penning satisfying happily ever afters to soothe the heartache left behind by her ex-boyfriend Nick, who is also a romance writer and her biggest rival, who has found success writing stories without happy endings. And so their professional obligations find them snowed in and forced to share a room at the same remote inn a few days before Christmas. And of course, they're upset about that. And they realize that this friction between them might be the cure for their writer's block, and they turn their frustration into fiction. But Jess can't shake the feeling that Nick is the last guy on earth she should be falling for again. But as they both finally get back in their flow, is he actually all she wants for Christmas? Now, look, hear me out. Look, y'all know I'm not a fan of second chance romance, so we're gonna have to see about this one. But it sounds good, and I love bookish books about bookish people and writers, so maybe that'll make it work for me. We'll see. And my last holiday hopeful is The Christmas Tree Farm by Lori Gilmore. And this is a grumpy sunshine with forced proximity in one bed. And it follows Kira, who hates Christmas, which is unfortunate since she just bought a Christmas tree farm in a town that's too cute for its own good. Bennett is on a vacation in Dream Harbor, taking a break from his life in California, and most importantly, taking a break from his latest run of disastrous dates. After a run-in with Kira in her fields, Ben has no intention of offering to help the grumpy owner set up her tree farm, despite the fact that she's clearly got no idea what she's doing. Kira knows she should stop being so stubborn, but her farm is not all cute and cozy like people always show on social media. It's borderline dangerous with no heating, and she'd rather no one saw it. But somehow fate finds Ben at Kira's farm once more, and as Kira watches him swing an axe at the first tree, she finds herself appreciating his strength and questioning why she refused help in the first place. All it takes is one swing of an axe, Kira. And that is all of the holiday books that I plan on picking from this December. And also, when I get a little tired of the holiday romances, I plan to be picking from a pretty big stack of books just from all the genres, books that I want/need to read before the end of the year, and things that I just haven't had a chance to get to yet. But like I said, I really want to get to them for the end of the year, so we'll see. Of course, I'm not going to make it through all of these because that's just not very realistic with the amount of books that I read, but we're going to try. And that's all we can do. So first I want to talk about some books that I started in November but didn't get a chance to finish because I had a major life thing happen, and these just didn't fit the vibe, and I didn't want to go into a slump, and I just really needed some comfort. So I just let myself read whatever I feel like I was in the mood for, and that left me with making not very much progress in these books, but wanting to continue and finish them. And so the first one I have is Where Sleeping Girls Lie, and this is by Farida Abike Iamedi, and this is a YA thriller, dark academia type book that I really am enjoying. Like I said, it's just very slow progress at this point. And the other book that I started and was not able to finish last month is Gideon the Ninth, and this has been a long time coming. And now that I've started it, I want to make my way through it and actually finish it. And this is a sci-fi book where we are following lesbian necromancers. So yeah, the rest of these just fall into that category of wanting/needing to finish before the end of the year, whether it's a series that I want to wrap up or it's my 24 and 2024 that I need to wrap up. Whatever the case may be, these fall into one or more of those categories. First one we have is Chosen Ones, and this is by Veronica Roth, and this is a fantasy, I think like Umbrella Academy, but you have these 5 teens who were magically gifted in whatever way that they defeated this Dark One character. And because they defeated the Dark One, they become like the most well-known people ever. And so it's a lot to deal with as a teenager. And one of them ends up dying, and that leads to a string of events. And yes, yeah. And then we have Her Majesty's Royal Coven, where we follow a coven of witches who were sworn to protect Queen Elizabeth I. Next, we have Girl Serpent Thorn, and this follows a princess who was cursed, and so her touch is poisonous to people. I think that's how it goes. So yeah, YA fantasy. Next, we have The Sky on Fire by Jenn Lyons, and this is a standalone adult fantasy that features a heist and also dragons. And then we have The Secret World of Maggie Gray by Granger, and this follows a witch, a vampire, and a siren that get accepted into a magical HBCU. Next up, we have The Darkness Within Us by Tricia Levenseller, and it says Chrysantha has won by hiding her intelligence and ambition behind the mask of a beautiful airhead girl. She has gathered important secrets, earned her father's constant care, and become a wealthy duchess, all by age 19. Now she is only one elderly dying duke away from having all the freedom, money, and safety she's ever wanted. Turns out her little sister somehow snatched the true victory away from her. Alessandra is wedding the Shadow King, the most powerful man in the world. Meanwhile, after the death of Chrysantha's no-good, lecherous husband, a man claiming to be the duke's estranged grandson turns up to inherit everything that should be hers. Chrysantha is outraged. There is no way that she's gonna let some man take everything from her. Never mind, he's extremely handsome and secretive and alluring with mysterious powers. No, Chrysantha wants Eric's dead, and in the end, a Santhos girl always gets what she wants. Moving on to the next book, and that is Bloodguard by Cecy Robson. This is, I think, a YA fantasy, if I'm not mistaken, and we are following gladiators. Next, we have Masquerade by Sangoyomi, and this is loosely based on the myth of Persephone, and we are exploring the true cost of one woman's fight for freedom and self-discovery and the lengths she'll go to secure her future. And this is a journey of epic power struggles and political intrigue. Sounds cool to me. And this book has been featured on many a TBR, and I cannot let this book walk into 2025 unread. I just can't do it. And that is Rosewater by Liv Little, and this is kind of a slice of life character study on a 28-year-old queer Black woman in England, London. Yeah, I was right. We also have The Book of Life by Deborah Harkness, and this is the 3rd book in the All Souls trilogy, and I think this wraps up the first arc, and then the next 2 books that are in the series are kind of following different storylines. So in this, we are following Diana Bishop, who is a witch and she does not practice, and so she calls up this magical manuscript and gets in touch from all kinds of creatures, but specifically a vampire named Matthew, and they go on an adventure to find the manuscript and also figure out what Diana's connection is to this manuscript. Think Twilight for adults. This has romance, suspense, history, all the things that you want in a fantasy. And then I would like to read Dark Restraint by Katee Roberts. So I am caught up in the Dark Olympus series going into next year. And this one is following Ariadne and the Minotaur. And lastly, I would like to dip my toes in a mystery thriller. Slipped out of my hand. So I have here the plot, and this is what happens when an author has a student in his class and he has this really good story and he doesn't want the teacher's help at all, but then the student dies, and so the teacher takes the work as his own, and one day he gets an email saying, "You are a cheater," or "We know you copied this," or "We know the story is not yours," something like that. But you get the drift, right? Yeah, and I think that is it. I think that's all the books that I would like to read from in December. Like I said, I know I ran through those kind of quick, but when I actually do read them, you will see what they are about. And because a lot of this reading will be happening during Bookmas, you'll see this really soon. So yeah, I'm really excited to read some Christmassy books, read some holiday books, try to finish up some series, try to finish my 24 and 2024, all the things that come with a month of December.